Hi guys, welcome back to Minecraft Project, and today we're going to carry on looking at Applied Energistics 2. In the first episode we had a look at the basics, where we talked about the channels and like the storage disks. We also looked over here at the seeds, which we can grow in with the surrounded by the crystal growth accelerators. You can see I've got some actually in there. Today we're going to take a look at the charger, ME toggle bus, ME export bus, import. I'm just going to look at a couple of things to do with like a trash can, and which isn't actually part of AE, but I use it anyway with it. Also going to just bang in a deep storage unit. Is a good solution, which is different to this, but again, it's not actually part of AE, but it works well with it. We're also going to have a look at the Inscriber presses and the Inscriber, and see what we do with that. So let's just crack on with it. Okay, the first thing we'll do is talk about the Inscriber. Now, the Inscriber needs power, but it doesn't actually have to be connected to an ME system. But I'm just going to place it there so it takes the power from it. You'll see that it doesn't actually take up a channel because all it does is uses power. So what do these do? Right, well, to make certain items, like let's have a look. For instance, that look, you need to have a printed engineering circuit and the redstone, which makes that. Now, to make these, you need these presses. Now, these presses here, there's 4 of them, and what you can do is you can find those in these things, which are meteors. Now, they're made from skystone, they're quite tough, and I use a diamond pickaxe on them. Now, they're perfect spheres. Now, what you're looking for is in the centre, is you see that stone chest, skystone chest. Now, really well camouflaged, but they are in the middle of every single one of these things. They're usually found above ground or below ground, it doesn't matter. And you can use a meteorite compass to find them. Now, if I craft from those, I'll show you. Now, to make one of them, pretty simple, just iron and a bit of charged surface quartz. Now, let's go out of the chunk here. You can see it's pointing to the meteor. If you face that way, it's telling me it's behind me, and it's facing that way. When you enter the chunk now, it starts to spin. And then you know within that chunk, you found one of these meteorites. Okay, so what do you find in the chests? You can often find skystone, which is actually needed for some of the recipes in AE2. But more importantly, you get these Inscriber presses, sorry. So, if we head back to the base. Okay, so you've got to find like all 4 of those. And then what do you do with them? Okay, so the Inscriber engineering press, pop that in there, pop a diamond in with that, and you'll see that it's starting to work here. And when you get up, let's just get rid of that. You get a printed cell, and then you can do the logic press with gold. Just give me that. Won't have backspace. Just and then basically the Inscriber silicon press you use with silicon, which you put glass into, sorry, not glass, sand into a pulverizer or the grinder, and you'll get silicon. And then you use the Inscriber calculation press with pure Certus quartz crystal, which again you get that by doing the seed into the water. So what do you do with these once you get to this point? You put that there, that there. Oh, we need a silicon. Just make that one first, shall we? So you see, pop that there. That'll go. That goes up there. That goes there. Goes there. And there you go. It's making one of those. And that's basically it. You know, so that's what you need those for. And a lot of these machines will use those. So it's a good idea to try and find those first before you start doing the ME. Okay, so we've now looked at the inscriber press and that. So the next thing I'll look at is basically the charger. Now, what the charger does is it needs power from the ME system, but it doesn't take up a channel. So you pop that there, and it doesn't actually connect. With the charger, you must put it connecting at the top, and then once that's connected, you can use it. What you need to do is put Certus quartz, the normal one. If you right click it in there, it starts the thing, and there you go. It now turned to the charged one. Just do it again. Wait for the animation to change. There. There you go, it goes up to 63. You can also put in there like the wireless network, which we're going to later. But you can charge the handheld thing in there. Okay, so how do you make that? Again, relatively simple. Where are you? Up there, that's right. Okay, so you just need flux crystal and iron, and that's it. It's nice and easy. Now, next thing we'll look at is the ME toggle bus. Okay, so these take up an awful lot of power, which you don't often use. So what you do with that is you pop in a toggle bus there, and then connect it using the normal cable that you've been using. You see that there's a black bit there. Now, what that basically does is it cuts the power. So you can see that these aren't now like animated, so they've got no power going to them. They're offline. It says device offline. Now, if you click give it a redstone signal, you see it goes to the colour of the system that it's on. So that's now gone to blue, and you can now see that these are now online. So basically, what that does is just cuts the power, and again, device offline. That's a good way to like save power if like you don't need to use something that often, or you want to do it that it's a manual control that it will work. So that's on. Done. I quite like that. It's quite cool. Okay, so that's the toggle bus. So the next thing I'm going to look at is, I think, the input, output, and storage bus. So, what do these do? They basically move things in and out of the system and store it, or that's what they are. So they are input buses. They import things into the system and they take things out of the system. So, to demonstrate it, I'm going to use a trash can. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put export bus on the back of that, and then connect it with the cable. You'll notice again that because what I need to do is put some in there. So what I don't want anymore. This quarries, so I don't need all the cobblestone. So I want to trash that. Okay, so if I put cobblestone in there now, you'll see it going to store it over here on there. So there's 2 out of 63 types. Now, if I put cobblestone into the storage bus, export bus, what it would do is it would take the, well, it will if I give it power. That section, didn't I? You'll see that that's going to now start going down. So basically it's putting it into here, destroying it. So let's hit that so I don't lose on cobble. What you can do with these, if I go and empty bags, let's get rid of those, don't need it. Okay. Take this out, so I'll leave that. And I'm going to get cards. Stone acceleration. Okay, so cards. So what you get different to the last time is you can get upgrade cards here. Now, capacity cards, if you wanted to put more slots. Okay, so what that does is that gives you 4 extra slots. So in theory, if you wanted to put dirt, cobblestone, sand, or any other, you could put another 4 things going into the trash can. Now, what you can also do is, as you can see here, if I turn that back on, it's only doing 1 at a time. Now, a way of speeding that up is by quite simply putting an acceleration card in there. Now, what you'll see now is if you turn that on, it's going down by a lot more. It's all gone already, so that's using, the acceleration card, which is that one there. Now, there are also fuzzy cards, inverter cards, redstone cards, crafting cards. So we'll talk about those later on when we actually go back to setting up the system properly. So, but basically that's the export. Now, if you wanted to put, I don't know, let's just say, let's just close it down. So put some more cobblestone in there. Let's get a chest. Okay, so if you wanted to put something in from this chest here into the system, you could do import bus. So you put that there, there, and then anything that you put in here. Let's take that cobble out because I don't want it wasted. Okay, so anything you put in here. Let's just put in the rubber. Is going into the system. So it's going out of the chest through here. And again, you can use the same card. So like if you put the accelerator card in there, it's gone already. Okay, so that's the output, input. There's another one which is the storage bus. Now, the way I use the storage bus, well, there's lots of ways you can use them, but I personally use them for this. And put DSU down, put storage there, and slightly different. You put more in these. So if I put sand here, and then connect that here, see nothing there yet. But if you put sand in to the system, there you go. Sand's now in the deep storage unit. Now, what you use those for is large amounts of quantities of like cobblestone or dirt or whatever it is you get a lot of out of your quarries. If you put them in there, it doesn't clog up your ME system, ME drives. And as you can see, because there's a storage bus there, you can actually see what's in the system, even though it's in there, and you can take it out, put it back in. It's almost like a two-way thing. It puts in and takes out. So it's a good way of using it. Again, you can put in the cards in there. No, you can't actually. There are some. There you go. You put inverter cards in there. Each individual card tells you what it can be used in. So that's that one. Again, because if I turn that off, I can still use that one. Look. I thought I could. Okay. Oh no, it's because there wasn't any in the system. I'd split it. So if you put that in there, because that's before the break in the power, it still can go in and out. So planning these systems are really quite interesting now. What else is there? The network tool. Yeah, now this is quite cool, because if it's in your hotbar, you can see over there, look on my other thing, it shows up all hidden ME cabling. Even though this has got coverings on, I can still now see it. That's there. You can see like all my door mechanism was working. And you can see all my ME stuff down here. That it basically makes it so you can see. And if you take that out of the system, or out of your hotbar, sorry, it goes back to normal. It's quite a good tool when you're actually looking for, trying to think, oh, where's that problem, or if something's hidden, you can see what's going on. Okay, so we're probably the other thing I can use is show you is this quartz wrench. Now, what you do with that is so you want to remove that, but leave that in place. Just shift right click, and it picks it up. Where if you were to break that normally, it breaks that as well. And usually when you get that breaking sound of glass, it usually means you're breaking it with the wrong tool. So if you try to show it again, see, no breaking sound, and it just drops it onto the floor, which you can pick up. Okay, so that's about it for this episode, I think. We'll leave it there. We'll look at it next time, and we're going to carry on with the AE. So what we're going to do next time is we're going to look at the way to use the quantum link chambers on the quantum ring. We can look at security terminals, and the rest of the things that we haven't really covered yet. So I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I hope it's useful. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time. See you later.